I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. Where you lie, I will lie, beloved. Where you lie, I will lie.
As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and you shall wear the starry crown, O Lord, show me the way. Oh, sisters, let's go down, let's go down, come on down. Oh, sisters, let's go down, down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and you shall wear the robe and crown, O Lord, show me the way. Oh, brothers, let's go down, come on down. Oh, brothers, let's go down, down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and you shall wear the starry crown, O Lord, show me the way. Oh, lovers, let's go down, come on down. Oh, lovers, let's go down, down in the river to pray. Down in the river to pray.
Welcome to the 2023 Spring Ordination and Graduation Ceremony of the Chaplaincy Institute Interfaith Community. I am the Reverend Carrie Kopnick, and it's my honor to serve the Chi as the community minister. I am so glad that you are here today, both on site and online. Let's turn around and wave to our online members. Hello, hello, welcome. Today we are here to witness, honor, celebrate, and bless our graduating spiritual directors and our new clergy. What a joy. Today our ordinands will symbolically release their identities, take sacred vows, and be blessed by this community as they don a new way of being in the world, becoming ordained clergy. Let us celebrate and bear witness to this crossing of the sacred spiritual threshold. I have a poem to share with you today that was written on Thursday by the ordinands. It's called A Forever Blessing. I could stay here forever. That seems to be the default option. But why? What could the effort cost me that outweighs the joy on the other side? This discomfort I feel can be nothing short of a blessing. Can I trust it? I fly to the moon and fall into the embrace of the Moon Mother, asking to be held in this. Gliding down her moonbeam, I stand at the threshold, looking through the veils to what lies just beyond. An invitation is beckoning as you step through and accept what finds you on the other side. Friends, gathered community, let us celebrate the threshold of this moment together.
In the sacredness of this time-honored tradition, if this body motion is available to you, I invite each of us to bring one hand to our bodies and to raise the other toward the sky as a quiet blessing to all First Nation peoples everywhere, and to acknowledge their legacies to all of us and those everywhere, here and now. You may put that hand down. In the mysteries of this time-honored tradition, if this body motion is available to you, please use your feet or your cane or an umbrella or any other source to gently tap the ground multiple times. As a message to Mother Earth that we love her, and we are deeply sorry for our individual and global mistreatment. Ashe, and thank you. As spiritual religious people, we are called to be grateful stewards of Mother Earth. We have a responsibility to grapple with what it means to acknowledge their histories and traumas of colonialism. Does anybody know that word? Today, in this beautiful and holy space, before all that is good, right, and just. We acknowledge that the coastal region of Central and Northern California, which includes Berkeley, has a history reckoning back to 2000 BCE. At that time, the peoples of this land were the Ohlone. Say it after me. Ohlone. A Native American tribe formerly known as the Kustianans. This land, their land, where we're gathered right here and now, was stolen from its original people. Is this news to anyone? Thank the goddess. Acknowledging wrongdoing is one right action. What more might we do to strengthen our commitments and to create sanctuaries of reparation and forgiveness? We pause for a moment to reflect on this existential question. I invite you to pause. What might you do? What might we do? Thank you. I invite my colleague, the chaplain, Lauren Van Ham, to join me in a centering moment.
Let's continue to honor the lands, water, and souls of this place as we get ourselves centered for this time of ceremony. To fully center ourselves and invite us in words over words, a verbal orchestra, to bring our own bodies and souls here now by naming the lands, waters, people, and non-human kin who inhabit the places we call home. The Derby Creek watershed, the plants, the trees, the dogs, the cats. Words over words, don't be shy.
With voices flowing over voices, let us reverently speak out loud the names of our ancestors and beloveds who are not able to be present here today.
And let's expand our circle in one more widening ripple by verbally calling on the holy sources, divine names, and energies within us and beyond us, and that remember us to that which is greater than us.
May the healing powers of our time together ripple out into our hungry and hurting world for all that has been spoken and for that which rests in the gentle sanctuaries of our hearts. We honor and give thanks. Ashe, and blessed be.
And now that we've collected and centered ourselves here, some words in invocation. You. We call you by many names. Creator, Allah, Yahweh, God, Goddess, Spirit of life, source of our breath. You are everything and the no thing void. We ask you on this day for your joy, serenity, love, and wildness. Alive in each one of us, we are listening for your nudges, your cries, your unbelievably imaginative callings. Move us toward our true nature, our most authentic, creative, responsive, feisty, and loving selves. Even as we are surrounded by distractions and illusions that might convince us that we are separate or somehow lacking, remind us that there is always enough when we forage together in the garden of generosity. In this time of widespread spiritual, physical, and moral losses, awaken in us the courage and curiosity we need to respond wisely and prophetically. Fill us with the love, trust, and interdependence that is you, and fill these chi ordinands and spiritual directors to overflowing so that they may radiate life and healing to all they meet. May today's ceremony be one moment in a series of future moments for them to feel the encouragement of this living threshold, warmly inviting them to offer their unique and needed gifts regeneratively, again and again and again. In your many holy names we pray. Blessed be, and so it is.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. It is such an honor to be in the room with you today, even if it's a Zoom room. I brought my ukulele because perhaps you've noticed that it doesn't really feel like a sacred event if there isn't a ukulele. It's my privilege to lead us in honoring our spiritual direction graduates today. You might be asking, what is spiritual direction? Spiritual direction is a specialized ministry in which two people companion together to discover what the divine is up to in a person's life. On the surface, it looks a lot like psychotherapy. Two people meet in an office, they talk for an hour, they make an appointment for next time. But that's where the similarity ends. I am proud to have trained such a patient, sensitive, and skilled group of people. I would recommend each of them with a whole heart to anyone seeking a spiritual director. As a school, it is our privilege to award certificates of completion to such an accomplished group of students. We are especially honoring those who are graduating and celebrating with us today. So I'd like to invite our graduates to introduce themselves and tell us where they're from.
My name is Jeanette Bessinger, and I'm from the East Coast, Newport, Rhode Island, ancestral land of the Narragansett Nation.
I'm Jody Patton. I'm from the Midwest, Columbus, Ohio, home of the Iroquois and the Chippewa.
And also graduating tonight is Rachel Coonrad, who wanted to be here with us today but had technical difficulties, and she is from Sandy, Utah. Now, if we were here in person, we would hand the 3 graduates a certificate. Happily, we have already sent them their certificates, but I'd like us to bless them with a song. It goes like this. Go forth, we've got holy work to do. Go forth, may our prayers carry you. So please mute yourselves and sing along with me to bless our graduates. First, let us celebrate and sing to Jeanette Bessinger. Go forth, we've got holy work to do. Go forth, and may our prayers carry you. Now let us celebrate and sing to Rachel Coonrad. Go forth, we've got holy work to do. Go forth, may our prayers carry you. And now let us celebrate and sing to Jody Patton. Go forth, we've got holy work to do. Go forth, and may our prayers carry you. And now I'd like to offer our graduates a final blessing. May what is holy go before you to guide you and prepare your way. May what is holy go behind you. May it support you and have your back. May what is holy go beside you to companion you and love you. And may what is holy bless you so that you might be a blessing to others. May it be so.
Good afternoon on this lovely day, this great day, Chaplaincy Institute. Can we just clap for the Chaplaincy Institute, for all the ordinaries? Chaplaincy and spiritual direction can be hard work, they can be serious work. It's important to remember that it is also joyous work. We are here to counter all of that stuff, the pain, the hurt we see in the news. Thank you for being here. I'm the Reverend Andrew Church. I am honored to serve as the executive director of the Chaplaincy Institute. Chi, if you don't know our nickname, now you do. We're glad you're here. I wanted to just offer you the words of one of my favorite poets and prophets of this age, Ma Muse. Ma Muse. Ma as in mama. Muse as in the one who inspires. They say it's been said, and some do believe, that as you ask, so shall you receive. So take from me these troubles, bring me sweet release. May the river never run dry. Will you sing that with me? I think we all want to sing those words. I'll sing you one line, and I want to hear it back. I want to hear it back with some soul and some verve and pushing back on all the bad news out there. It's been said, and some do believe. It's It's been said, and some do believe, that as you ask, so shall you receive. That as you ask, so shall you receive. So take from me these troubles. Take from me these troubles. Bring me sweet release. Bring me sweet release. May the river never run dry. May the river never run dry. Yes, all right. Whether or not you think this is true or know it yet, you are Chi. You are the Chaplaincy Institute. You are part of the lineage of this group and the groups that will come after. I want to share with you the important truth that student tuitions pay for about 75% of the cost of operating Chi. The rest of that money comes from generous individuals like yourselves and so many others out there watching online, and dedicated folks who are pushing back against the hurt in the world through this Chaplaincy Institute. So in a moment, we're going to pass the baskets, offer you the opportunity to participate in this generation and the coming generations of interfaith caregivers going out there and making a real difference in the world, bringing joy and comfort and sustenance and presence to a world in need. So many structures are in decline, religious structures and institutions. This structure, this institution is not in decline. This institution is what's next. We are what's next. So help us lean into that legacy. Help us create that legacy. You can text the word chaplain to the number 44321. You can go to our website. We have flyers out in the lobby. Any amount helps. Monthly donations, monthly support is particularly helpful. And whatever you do, just know that your good wishes, your musicality, your clapping, your joy and love go with every single graduate and ordinand of the Chaplaincy Institute. So, may the offering be generously given, just as it will be so gratefully received.
The words for this song are in your program. I invite you to sing along. If the only prayer we said was thank you, thank you, thank you, it would suffice. If the only prayer we said was thank you, thank you, thank you, it would suffice. If the only prayer we said was thank you, thank you, thank you, it would suffice. If the only prayer we said was thank you, thank you, thank you, it would suffice. If the only prayer we said was thank you, thank you, thank you, it would suffice. If the only prayer we said was thank you, thank you, thank you, it would suffice.
Thank you for your gifts. They are gratefully received. And thank you for singing together. Thank you for leading us, Katrina. What a blessing you all are. Beloved community, I invite you to get yourself settled and centered. These 6 people are going to share their homilies, or what might be better called their soul messages. Friends, we're ready to receive.
On May 15th, 2020, a dear friend of mine was compelled by a bird to write me a letter. The bird was on the front of a card that said, "Things just got super weird. It's your time to shine." Inside, he wrote the following: "Yep, this little guy on the cover wouldn't leave me alone today until I wrote this card. He's all, your friend Ashley is like one of the weirdest people, the only people you know who's weird enough for these times. You should send her a note so she remembers to use her witch powers to heal the world. He's definitely a troubled bird, but he's right too." I received that card on the day of my CHI interview and have kept it on the ledge of my office windowsill ever since. I don't know why Evan was so strongly compelled to write me that note, and I don't think he does either. But I'm so grateful for the strange and wonderful gifts that the universe sends you at just the right time. I now stand before you, nearly 3 years later, so much weirder, so much witchier, and so much more determined to do my part towards healing the world. I certainly won't be able to do it alone, though, and I'm so honored and humbled to be walking this path with my dear Ordinans and all those who have come before us and those who will come after. The path of interfaith ministry and chaplaincy isn't easy for a whole lot of reasons, one of which it's kind of confusing. What does interfaith mean exactly? What does a chaplain do, especially one who doesn't work in a hospital? All good questions. I'll let you know when I figure it out. Thankfully, as a Jew with the last name Christian, I have a lifetime of experience swimming in interfaith confusion. On the topic of being Jewish and being called to tikkun olam, or the repairing of the world, this can be a really overwhelming notion. There's a lot to work on, sometimes too much to get our arms around. So I'd like to conclude my statement here with a short list of incredibly alarming things that are happening right now in this country that we all need to be paying very close attention to. This country and planet needs every single one of us to stay vigilant and to find our place and our medicine. To quote Elie Wiesel, we must take sides. Neutrality helps the oppressor, never the victim. Silence encourages the tormentor, never the tormented. If you feel stirred in your spirit by any of these things, please find a way to get involved. The Willow Project has been approved in Alaska, which would release 9.2 million metric tons of carbon pollution into the air per year. Tennessee has passed a bill gutting marriage equality for same-sex, interfaith, and interracial relationships. The Texas legislature is attempting to advance a bill that would require public classrooms to display a copy of the 10 Commandments. GOP lawmakers in South Carolina have proposed a bill that would make those who have had an abortion eligible for the death penalty. Florida has introduced a bill codifying gender-affirming health care as abuse and would allow for trans children to be removed from their parents. And Mississippi has reintroduced Jim Crow laws which allow for the segregation of all white towns, police forces, and governments. I wish I could stand before you all today with better, more uplifting news, but I cannot. Things have gotten super weird, and the world is calling all of us to its aid. Please find where you can be useful and get to it. I look forward to joining you in this sacred work. Thank you.
I heard my calling to ministry and chaplaincy in my 40s. In fact, my wife, Angela, said that my midlife crisis was going to seminary, but that my crisis response was a lot better than it could have been. tend to agree. It was while volunteering with a crisis assistance organization and working with hospital chaplains that I first started thinking that this might be my career path. I'd worked with some truly amazing and honestly some truly horrible chaplains. Several times after being called by first responders or ER nurses to support a grieving family, I was escorted from the hospital by chaplains that saw me and my volunteer group as an affront to their religious authority and power. It was these experiences that had me say, I can do that. I can be a truly amazing interfaith and exclusive of everyone's religious faith or lack thereof. Trauma is not selective or exclusionary. Trauma knows no specific religion, and I cannot feel or be consoled or healed by one approach. This belief is why I enrolled in the Chaplaincy Institute. I felt that this institute could give me the skills, the education to be one of those truly amazing chaplains that I so admired. I learned so much from my studies and from my classmates. I've moved from approaching life mostly from my intellect to integrating my heart, my spirit as well. And I've been taught how to draw from all of my parts and seeking to alleviate the suffering we see in the world. Thank you, Ashley. Not only did I find this education that I sought here, but I also found a cohort, a community that supported me, that cheered me, that lifted me up in those long evenings when reading and writing and generally wondering, what was I thinking? Going to seminary at my age? Why was I here? What did my future hold? And while I am still pondering what I'm going to do and what my future holds, I know that with my cohort, with my fellow ordinands, there are going to be now several more amazing chaplains, ministers, Jewishes, and priestesses to go around.
Oh, hello. I've been at a loss for words for several months now. I've been watching this threshold of ministry and spiritual leadership come closer and closer since the age of 16. And the fact that it's right here, right now, takes my breath away. I wish I could tell you my entire journey to this point, but that would take much longer than a mere 3 minutes. So I will turn to prayer. If you will join me. I pray in gratitude for my heart, my true self. This is a powerful heart, a courageous heart, a heart that has led me to leap into the unknown, deepen into my truth, and love the world and others with fierceness. I pray in gratitude for my ancestors, both blood and spiritual, for making me who I am today. I honor the powerful warrior women who came before me and who surround me, whose strength, fearlessness, and wisdom runs in my veins. I pray in gratitude for the countless trials by fire, challenges, initiations, sacrifices, and deaths I have experienced in order to come to this point. I pray in gratitude for the sacred, beautiful earth, for she has given me and us everything. For the lands I have walked, the distant places that have whispered to me and showed me the way. for the trees that I have leaned on in times of fear and pain. I pray in gratitude for the people and communities that I have been in relationship with, and for the remarkable ways they have shaped me, taught me, and supported me. I pray in gratitude for my family and my parents who have literally given me everything in order for me to stand here at this moment. I pray in gratitude for the Chaplaincy Institute and Star King School for the Ministry for teaching me how to do this life-changing, beautiful, 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 beautiful work. I pray in gratitude for my wild imagination, for the dreams I have held since I was a child, for a more just and love-filled world. Dreams that continue to call and move me. Finally, I pray in gratitude for you, the Holy, she of many names and faces, she who is within me and around me, everywhere and nowhere, the great mystery, the unknown. You are everything to me. You have given everything to me. Thank you for the abundance, joy, adventure, loneliness, sadness, power, and strangeness of my life. Thank you for dancing with me. I pray that we all feel your love in the singularly unique way that is present for each of us, and that you continue to guide us towards fullness, wholeness, and love. I bow to you, Holy One, and to all of this that has made me who I am and who I will be. Blessed be. Thank you.
I wanted to write a parable, but I couldn't stop thinking about this true story. The patient I'll call Anna was a 70-ish woman who looked 105. She requested a visit from me after having talked to people from almost every other department in the hospital, including social work and patient relations. I knew for this reason that she must have some grievance, but nothing beyond that. As it happened, it would take multiple visits to get to the heart of the matter. She started by saying that she had been diagnosed with dementia. She was afraid that she would have her power of attorney taken away and given to her oldest daughter. She liked this daughter, but she did not see why she had to have someone else making her decisions. Above all, she insisted she did not have dementia. I tacitly agreed. She seemed perfectly lucid to me. After complaining like this for a while, she told her life story. She must have liked the way I listened because she invited me back 3 more times. After several rounds of her life story, she told me she had been hospitalized this time, as well as a few previous times, for injecting insulin on an empty stomach. She mentioned this calmly and casually, clearly hoping that I would see it as a bad habit and no big deal. This raised a red flag, which led ultimately to the unspoken truth. Injecting insulin on an empty stomach is no mere oversight. In fact, it is often deadly. I realized she had been diagnosed with dementia, as this is the only way they could override her power of attorney, that is, to save her life. At this moment, my role became clear. Everyone else in the chain had an obligation to prioritize her safety. I did not. I had the power to give her the remaining things she needed, the kind of acknowledgement and validation that can only happen when one soul recognizes another. This may seem subordinate to the goal of protecting her safety and saving her life, but she had everyone else in the hospital to do the latter. She knew what needed to happen, but if she didn't feel recognized as no more or less than a human being, it wouldn't matter. I could speculate as to what she might do if she didn't receive this form of care, but that misses the bigger point. As the one person capable of providing it, I had a duty to do so. When people ask me, what do chaplains do in a hospital, I reply, we catch whatever falls through the cracks. Neutrality, the heart of a chaplain's job, may sound passive, but in fact we have a highly active role. It means doing what others can't, whatever that looks like in the moment. When others have done their job, we step in and tie it all together. This is the nature of sacred work. Disregarding what may seem like common sense enables us to cut to the heart of human longing. Anna's story is proof that even in the clinical environment of a hospital, such sacred work is eminently necessary. May it be so.
Thank you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118 Hi, I'm Margaret. I'm already crying, so the story of my arrival at this spiritual threshold is one of repair and reclamation. Becoming an interfaith minister today is about claiming my spiritual integrity, my unique spiritual lineage, and in the end, my holiness. The patriarchal forces of the Catholic Church burrowed like a worm into my spirit from an early age, sowing seeds of self-doubt and self-loathing, and declaring that I was not worthy. Choosing to ordain is an act of liberation from these forces. This is my act of claiming myself as holy. I was born holy. We were all born holy. The Annunciation of Mary has been a touchstone in my life. You know, as a Catholic, I know, when the angel came to Mary, an old Catholic, when the angel came to Mary to tell her that she will have a child and call him Jesus. Like the paintings from the Renaissance depicting the moment when the angel approaches Mary and she looks up from her book and says yes to whatever Spirit was asking. The call to holiness, to her destiny, to herself. I have been waiting for that angel to appear to me my entire life. To call me to my holiness, to my destiny. And I was preparing for this day. I realized, of course, that the call had indeed come. It came long ago and it has come regularly. Not a moment like it's depicted here, but rather a thread I have been following. The thread of connection to Spirit that has shaped my life. That thread is reflected in my girl self, so proud and conscientious as I carefully clean the church every Friday. And in my young woman self, attending my first Buddhist retreat and never turning back. That thread finally brought me to the sacred feminine in all of her forms, from rageful Kali to Avalokiteshvara, who hears the cries of the world, to the great Earth Mother, who holds me with a breathtaking consistency. And it brought me to the Chaplaincy Institute. I've been saying yes to this call my entire life. I am indeed holy. We are all holy. I am stepping over this threshold to a destiny that Spirit has led me toward. And I don't know how these next years will unfold, but I do know that I can now meet them with a more whole, unfettered heart, grounded in the sacred. Thank you for witnessing me today.
Is this a good distance? Let's put it right here. Thank you. Karen, I love you.
In March 2019, Officer Dick Rondeau bashed my brains against the wall and trampled on my legs. In the nebula of grieving, my eyesight and hearing, legs and memories, filmmaking dreams and gender affirmation surgeries, all blurring together with rape flashbacks, Jesus nightmares, visions of future community healing, transcestors, Korean esoterica. Echoes of this repurposed Jesus song wafted me home to the God within me and the God within us. You hold my every moment. You calm my raging seas. You walk with me through fire and heal all my disease. I trust in you. I trust in you. I believe you're my healer. I believe you are all I need. I believe you're my portion. I believe you're more than enough for me. Jesus, you're all I need. You hold my every moment. You calm my raging seas. You walk with me through fire and heal all my disease. I trust in you.
Holy wow. Let's give them all some love. We're going to invite the ordinands back up here in a few moments for the transmission of their ordination and vows. Ordination is the culmination of one journey and the beginning of another. When we're first called into ministry, it may start as a tiny whisper and grow to a clarion call. And sometimes it takes a while for that yes. It's part of a journey of discernment and study, and we cross a threshold to empowerment that's just the beginning of another journey. For each of us who have stepped into that yes, we return to that commitment again and again. That initial yes is just the beginning of each yes of spirit that follows. I'd like to invite all of the Chaplaincy Institute ordained clergy to please come forward to renew your vows. For those present and those online, please respond with each vow with the statement, I will. As an ordained minister in the Chi interfaith community, will you nurture your relationship with the divine and all in its manifestations? Will you honor the diversity and unity of all beings, cultures, and traditions? Will you inspire interfaith awareness, cooperation, and connection? Will you continue to nourish yourself in body, heart, mind, and spirit? Will you commit to serve peace, justice, and sustainability in this world? Will you uphold the values of the Chi community, representing us responsibly and with dignity? Will you abide by the Chi community's code of ethical conduct and always serve others with compassion and respect? Will you lovingly challenge this community to be the best version of itself and to live up to the things that we say we believe? Will you allow yourself to be changed, shaped, and transformed by this community? And now I'd like to invite to come in front of everyone there anyone who was ordained in 2020 or 2021 when we weren't able to meet in person, who has not yet received the laying on of hands. So if you could step forward, if there's anyone here. And if there is not, I still invite all of you to circle up, because this is a continual yes that we say. And receive this blessing. Breath of life, who is known by many names and no name, as we have each been inspired by your call through this and myriad generations, allow your creativity, healing, and wisdom to flow through each of these, your servants. Empower them to use their prophetic voices to become powerful allies for all marginalized communities. Replenish their well of compassion, that it may flow to those that they serve at bedside, on the streets, in prisons, and anywhere suffering calls out for hope each and every day. Nurture them as they embody love, justice, trust, and divine presence for the care of all life and creation, and imbue each of them with the knowledge that we are called to continue to grow in spirit, knowledge, and accountability as we hold the sacred responsibilities entrusted to us here. May the source of life and love remind each of you that rest is a sacred act, that self-care is radical love, and that the gentle hand that you extend to those you serve is also extended to each of you within this sacred community. Blessed be, may it be so. Amen v'amin. And we may return to our seats.
Dear ones, this is the point in time when you promise to live your life from this moment forward by these vows. You are saying, this is who I am, and this is what I promise. I know you to be ready and worthy to take these vows. I'll ask a litany of questions, and if you are ready, your answer is, I will. As an ordained minister of the Chi Interfaith Community, will you nurture your relationship with the divine and all its manifestations? Will you honor the diversity and unity of all beings, cultures, and traditions? Will you inspire interfaith awareness, cooperation, and connection? Will you continue to nourish yourself in body, heart, mind, and spirit? Will you commit to serve peace, justice, and sustainability in the world? Will you uphold the values of the Chi community, representing us responsibly and with dignity? Will you abide by the Chi community's code of ethical conduct and always serve others with compassion and respect? Will you lovingly challenge this community to be the best version of itself and to live up to the things we say we believe? Will you allow yourself to be changed, shaped, and transformed by this community? Blessings, friends. Now we're going to promise you. All right, friends, now it's our turn to promise to them. I invite you to take a moment and look at your order of service for today. The responses are printed on the back or in the digital program on page 11. Got it? This is for everybody. Is it your wish that we ordain these, your friends, as interfaith ministers? It is. Let us ordain them and bless them for ministry. Woo. Will you support them and encourage them in their work? We promise our love, support, and care. Will you lovingly challenge these new ministers to be the best versions of themselves and to help them live up to the things they say they believe? We will. Will you promise to allow yourselves to be changed, shaped, and transformed by them? We will. Thank you. Dear Ordinance friends, you are about to be charged by someone who has been important to you as you approach this threshold. This person knows you and will call you to your best self and to the very core of your ministry. Before you receive your charge, a beloved one dear to you will place your stole over your shoulders. When you answered the call to ministry, you said yes to speaking your truth, to finding your authentic voice. In the words of Reverend Shirley Strong, the stole is an outward symbol of this decision to make yourself available, to answer the call, to say yes to spirit and to the universe, to say, here I am, I'll go, send me. At Chi and in interfaith ministry in general, we're making the path as we walk it. Our stoles have symbols of many faith traditions, and a hand with a labyrinth in the center. This hand is a call to service, a statement on serving in the world using spiritual tools. The stole is not a status symbol. It does not separate us from others, but instead is an outward reminder of our call. Let us begin the ritual of the bestowing of stoles and giving of the charge.
Ashley. Yours is a ministry of empowerment and illumination. The way you willingly embrace your work in the world with enthusiastic confidence and deep compassion affirms Spirit's expression in your life and the divine's delight in your choices. A living shamash candle, steadily attending the menorah. It is your joy to ignite the light in others and to affirm the truth that is theirs to bring. So too, you are there to acknowledge harm when it happens and to respond by creating spaces for restoration and healing. I charge you, Jewwitch, with radical honesty and tenacious love as you put forth permission and possibility for all those you serve. As you move through each day, unapologetically inviting us to engage with end-stage capitalism and to adapt with ecological collapse, I charge your ministry with a vulnerability that chooses relational over transactional. Like life-sustaining photosynthesis, may you feel your light replenished continually by the one light that embraces the dark and the community of light that cannot be put out. Blessed be.
Greg, this charge comes from many hearts, mine and each of your cohort mates of the past 2 years who all contributed. We charge you to bring forward your full, authentic self, your go-getter self that challenges power with clarity and conviction, your bright, compassionate self with your shimmering, kind, and generous heart. Yourself who holds others in their time of need with grounded, gentle strength. Your multi-layered wisdom self who is both confident and humble. Your storyteller self who enthusiastically shares both knowledge and curiosity. We charge you to nudge yourself beyond your comfort zone, beyond any doubts. Be a trailblazer, a champion, a wellspring, a source for others to draw inspiration from. Be an example. Live your best life as a master of paradox, holding both and rather than either or. Set an example for others to live into their full, authentic selves. We charge you, in the words of John O'Donohue, to step worthily across this threshold into your role as spiritual leader, whether you find yourself providing spiritual care to those in a social justice, healthcare, or congregational setting. Finally, we charge you to care for yourself well, to practice good boundary maintenance, and to resist the temptation to do and be everything, everywhere, all at once. May it be so.
On this day of your ordination, I charge you, Charlotte, to be fully yourself and to live into the gifts that you have been given. I charge you to trust in yourself and not be afraid. Breathe into your power, mindfully use your authority, and be brave. Remember to love and serve all beings and learn from them. Always remember to keep learning. And know that you are not alone. You are part of something much larger than yourself. Lean on the earth, the Great Mother. She will always support you. Feel the support of your community and trust yourself as they trust you to be a leader, blazing new trails. Be brave. And let your heart grow as big as it wants, so that you have a place to rest when your thinking mind has other plans and you start to get caught up in your own stuff. Be brave. Remember to forgive others and to forgive yourself. Be brave. Remember your magic and your superpowers. Be brave. Remember that one powerful way to resist empire is to slow down and just do one thing at a time. Be brave. Do not be afraid of your worries and fears, and know that you can give them to the divine when they become overwhelming, and she will hold them for you. Be brave. Trust God, the darkness and the light, and feel the embrace of all of them. Be brave. Let your compassion infuse and inform your care for others and for yourself. Be brave. And know and feel that you are loved and cared for, and that your caring presence is needed in this world. All blessings upon you as you commit to and walk this path. You are brave. Amen. And may it be so.
Steve, your journey has been and continues to be one of impassioned self-examination, humility, thoughtful reflection, and gratitude. You began this tender journey emerging from the dark night of the soul to embody the compassionate mystic and healer I have had the honor of walking beside. You've come to an understanding of the divine's true nature as one of action, love as action, compassion as action, deep listening as action. You've already begun to embody the divine action, serving as a chaplain, meeting those suffering in the stillness of the night, bringing compassionate presence to the liminal moments experienced by patients, their families, and your hospital colleagues. This threshold of ordination is an expression of that which your own words over the course of our time together have called into being. I charge you with those words to continue to give yourself self-care and self-compassion, just as you readily provide care and compassion to those you serve. I charge you to continue to stand in awe of the great mystery that defies our human attempts at compassion, at comprehension, and to never lose your sense of wonder that recognizes that our smallness is held within the divine cosmos, growing your sense of the unity of all life. I charge you to welcome in your colleagues, both here and at work, as part of your growing and dynamic sense of community, alive with support, caring, witness, and accountability. I charge you to step into your personal, spiritual, and ministerial authority as a servant leader, to use your privilege to become an ally for marginalized peoples, to trust yourself, staying centered, accepting feedback from others, and working to heal past traumas. Steve, you're already living into each one of these as you cross this threshold. Know that you are ready, and the world needs you. May you always listen to that still small voice within that reminds you that you are an embodiment of that divinity in action as love, compassion, and hope. It is already so.
It's just you and me, Margaret. Margaret Crowley Howe, I'll cry for us both. It is my blessing and honor to be in the presence of your bright light. Since August of 2021, we consistently gathered with the Great Mother to hear and attend to their guidance and to bask in their companionship. Thank you for sharing your sacred and ever-enlightening spiritual journey with me. In this box, not Pandora's box, are two stones. I invite you to hold them near your heart, that they shall be charged as I speak into your body, the great mother's charge for your ministry. Margaret Crowley Howell, as the late prophet, civil rights leader, and Congressman John Lewis might say, your spiritual waters were troubled, girl, and called up since the age of 6. The tender Catholic girl who still lives in you cleaned the church and ascended to the forbidden altar in awe of the icons of Catholicism. I charge you to remember this courageous, determined, and fearless child. Tell her story often so that other children will always know what is possible, Margaret. For this is transformative. You are a teacher and a way maker. You know how to make holy trouble, girl. Your spiritual waters, your spiritual gifts, your deep spiritual knowing has been fired by Mei Li, your first trusted spiritual guide, your Buddhist practices and social engagement, earth-based spirituals and rituals, sitting at the bedside of a friend and preparing her body after she died, and your many experiences of the Catholic Workers' House. Margaret, I charge you to befriend your body and all that lives and moves within you. Do not allow fear and depression to drown out for what you know, for you are the embodiment of church. Knowing your body as a sacred temple, for it is a temple. And you, Margaret, you, yes, Margaret, you are feminine wisdom. This too is transformative. And finally, before we both gush at the eyes, you have known profound suffering, and you are no stranger to the slings and poisonous arrows of the patriarchy. And here you are, crying, and a bright light. I charge you to place alongside the doubt that will come again, Margaret, but place alongside it your deep sense and sincere compassion, your mysterious ways of channeling Great Mother, your fierce capacity to speak truth and bring truth to the hills, the valleys, the streets of all communities. For this is also transformative in your way, Margaret. You can make it so with Great Mother as your guide. Ashe. Ashe. You got this, Margaret.
Thank you for this honor, G. I'm so proud of you, and I'm proud to stand with you today in Queer and Trans Family with your sisters and your sensei. And I love being your mentor. I love being in the presence of your powers, your humor, your rage, and your wisdom. I charge you, G, to find spaces in the past, in the present, and in your futures to thrive, grow, trust. I charge you to lift up and hold all individuals, truths, and creatures that come to you in need, to rely on your spiritual paths of knowing to meet that work, to remember in the work to be open to multiple traditions and practices. I charge you to model the care for your communities and care for yourself, and to feel all spirits move through the actions of your work. Remember that your work is the work of love, growth, and justice, and that it is done alongside kin, chosen families, transcestors, shamancestors, and spiritual guides. You bring honor to us, and today we circle around to celebrate you. So many radical forces and legacies will bless you on your journey as you make your path. Congratulations.
Now is the time where the ordinands will receive a blessing and anointing with oil. This is an ancient tradition which sets them apart and prepares them for the transmission of ordination, which is the laying on of hands. Ordinands, we will bring you a blessing and oil.
Dear Ordinance, friends and family of Ordinance, Chi community, guests, and all who have gathered here today. We now have come to the part in the service that will involve all of us, the laying on of hands. First, a few words of the meaning of this act of ordination. There's a dimension of history and a dimension of mystery to this act of laying on of hands and ordaining. Throughout the ages, spiritual communities across the world have called out and ordained among themselves spiritual leaders to serve the community and the world. And that's what we're doing today. The journey toward ordination starts when a person first feels a call. And the act of ordination, our laying on of hands, is the confirmation by our community of this call, felt and followed by these courageous persons today. Sometimes that call comes to people within a tradition. Sometimes it comes to people in mysterious and even weird ways. And so far, there have not always been ways for people who have had this call to have it recognized and to bring their gifts of healing and transformation to the world. That's why we're here, to recognize the call in whatever way it comes. The Chaplaincy Institute exists to help clarify a person's call. Our classes and process of spiritual direction have helped these ordinances to sift what is authentic from what is ego. It helps clarify what shape your ministry will take. The anointing and laying on of hands represents the Chaplaincy Institute's considered choice to ask these ordinances today to serve as leaders and servants on behalf of our community. They have gone through a rigorous process of preparation, learning, and assessment. They have studied the world religions, developed self-awareness, explored the role of spirit in social transformation, and presented their written theologies. They were examined by the Chi community in a process we call a competency assessment. We have found them. We have found you to have an authentic call and to be properly prepared. Today, we recognize your call and entrust you with the authority to be spiritual leaders among us. And now to the dimension of mystery. Ordination is also a spiritual empowerment. In addition to expressing our trust in them, we call on the divine, which we know by many names and in the silence of no name at all, to bless you, to empower you, and to guide you. As a community gathered today, both in person and virtually, we will transmit a spiritual blessing through our laying on of hands that we recognize to complete, together with the stoles, the charges, the anointing, and the laying on of hands, to be your ordination. In a moment, I will ask these ordinands to stand in a circle, and then I will call you up in this order. First, ordained ministers of the Chaplaincy Institute or other traditions, then family and friends of the ordinance, and finally everyone gathered here today in person. And if you are online, please just send your blessings and laying on of hands through the ethers as well. So ordinance, will you please gather in a circle? And ordained ministers, charge your hands with blessings. Bring them forward and lay them on. Family and friends of the ordinance, please join us. And you can lay your hands on someone in front of you, and it will be transmitted to our ordinance through the gathered circle. And everyone else in this room with us today and across the lands online, please join in the laying on of hands. Holy One, we come to you in prayer. You who have come to this ordinance through the whispering of trees, compelled by birds, compelled by midlife crisis, called to repair and reclamation, or by police violence. We give thanks that you have called them to bring repair to the world, to find their place and their medicine, to take sides, to speak up against pollution and destruction of the earth, to speak up for marriage equality, to protect our trans and LGBTQ children and adults. Holy One, empower them to be an affront to false religion and authority and power. Holy One, trauma is not selective. And we need these men and women to bring alleviation of suffering in the world. They stand here with loss of words and crying, and they turn to prayer. Holy One, touch their hearts, their broken and bruised hearts. Open them to your love and power. Help them to leap into the truth, to bring healing to people and the world and our sacred and beautiful earth. Holy One, they do the work of catching whatever falls through the cracks, of doing what others can't. Holy One, empower these ordinances to do the work of one soul recognizing another. Bring to them the ability to enact liberation from the forces that hold us back, that oppress us, that tell us we are not worthy, that sow self-doubt, and help them to bring love, compassion, and truth. Help them to recognize that they are holy, that all of us are holy, and that we call them today to remind the world that each sentient being is holy. Holy One, walk with them through the fire. Heal our disease. Help us to trust in you, because nothing is impossible for them. We call them today to be priests and priestesses, Jew witches, chaplains, spiritual activists, warrior women and men, and troubled birds in your service. Holy One, 2,000 years, an angel announced the birth of a sacred child. But what good would it be if the sacred child was born only 2,000 years ago? We recognize that the sacred child is born in all times and all places. And today, we celebrate the sacred child being announced and born again in the souls of these brave ordinands. A sacred child is born inside each of us, as a sacred call to heal our broken world, to bring justice and wholeness through their ministries. On behalf and empowered by the Chaplaincy Institute, doing the work of the divine in the world. And we lift up the life and ministries of those we ordain today into the hands of the divine mystery. With these acts of anointing and of laying on of hands, we now have duly ordained you. May the Holy One bless your ministry. May it be so, and so it is. Amen.
Wow. Thank you. It is my great honor to present to you these Chi clergy members. The Reverend Ashley Christian, corporate chaplain and interfaith minister. The Reverend Gregory Klein, interfaith chaplain and minister. Reverend Charlotte Kramer, interfaith priestess, chaplain, and minister. Reverend Steve Herrick, interfaith chaplain. Reverend Margaret Howe, interfaith chaplain, minister, and priestess. Reverend G. Yee, psychospiritual healer, abolitionist, spiritual mental health activist. Let's celebrate these clergy members. Woo! Thank you, gathered community, for honoring us with your presence today, both on site and online. Friends, colleagues, welcome to the Chi clergy community. We are so glad that you are here. You have been reborn as clergy, as ordained spiritual leaders. You've been transformed and your former self has been released, but the thread of who you were remains even as you are reborn. As we close our ceremony now, in the spirit of releasing what was before, in the spirit of becoming and rebirth, I invite you all to join me in the spirit of celebratory prayer. Spirit of life and love, known by many names and beyond all names,
Bless these newly ordained clergy who have crossed this threshold. They have donned new clothes, the new identities of their callings. Bless the courage to answer the call and say yes, a whispered yes, a joyful yes, a fierce yes. We are so very grateful that you said yes. May it be so, and so it is.
In sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the world, we are opening, we are opening, we are opening, we are opening, we are opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light.